Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 25th meeting of the Stoughton Redevelopment Authority. This meeting is being held in accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, which extends the Governor's March 12, 2023 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until March 31st, 2025. This meeting is being conducted both in person and virtually via Google Meets. A recording of the meeting, transcript, and other comprehensive record of the proceeding will be posted on the town's website and SMAC. Times are approximate and items may be taken out of order at the chair's discretion. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I would like a motion to open the meeting.
So made.
Second, thank you. Not knowing if Reggie's going to come on, I'm going to take this vote by voice, but if he does come online, then we'll switch to a roll call vote. So all members in favor?
Aye.
There he is.
All right. And there he is. Hello, Reggie. Come on in. We were just getting ready to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If those of you who can, please stand for the pledge. I'll give you a second, Reggie. We're going to wait that one out.
I had it here
All right.
in case you texted.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You want to come try and sit again? First item of business tonight, public comments. Are there any members on the public online who would like to speak? Hearing nothing. Anybody? What?
I thought hers.
I did too.
Oh, wait, I do see her thing moving.
Yeah.
Donna, can we? She is. Hang on one sec, Ms. Walsh. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Yes, sir. How are you?
Good to see you, Reggie.
Good.
Good to see
In
you
the
too.
flesh, yeah.
In the flesh.
Yeah,
right.
there you go. More?
More?
Can you hear me now?
We can, yes, Ms. Walsh. Please, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say this may be your last redevelopment authority meeting, and I want to thank you for all your efforts over the years to revitalize the redevelopment authority and push forward to the urban development plan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Walsh. Much appreciated. Any members in the room that would, members of the public in the room that would like to speak? Hearing nothing. Chairman comments. I have nothing at this time. I'll reserve that for later if I see fit. Are there any members of the authority that would like to speak at this moment?
Not at this time.
I'd like to reiterate Mrs. Walsh's sentiments in terms of
Yeah. We'll jump in.
your dedication and hard work over the past 5 years or so. It's really been appreciated. Town's a much better place because of you.
Well,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Reggie, and that's, largely because everybody made that effort, all of us, so. All right, admin comments, Donna?
I just wanted to briefly say thank you. Thank you very much for your support, and also from the rest of the SRA, and I wish you the best of luck in your future adventures.
Thank you.
And it's,
Because he's probably not retiring
Oh,
from town.
I'm going to take a good break.
Okay. He got his hair cut though. For the
I did get my hair cut. Well, come on, I came in blonde, I better go out
I
blonde.
noticed it.
no more crisis texts from me, so.
No, but that's okay. Item 4 is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, or does anybody want to pull anything?
So made.
Can I bring something to people's attention?
Yeah, let me get a second first, Donna.
second.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that I did amend my invoice, and I provided everyone with a copy of it. I had some tasks that came in after the packet went out. So my invoice is for 206, And then I also had to buy some items over the weekend, so I
Okay.
provided copies of the receipts.
Excellent.
So I
The
did.
motion stands, and the second stands. If there's no further discussion, seeing as how all members are in the room, we're going to take a voice vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as written? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. That was unanimous, Donna. Item 5, Hometown Heroes Community Outreach Application. We have Sharon, is it Johnson, Sharon? I apologize. It took me a second to remember that. And Pam McCarthy with us. This was something that has been kind of in the works for some time, and I'm just going to turn it right over to Pam and Sharon to present to us, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, I'll just get started, and then Sharon has all the
Please.
details for the program.
Sure.
So one of my roles is I'm the technical advisor for the Friends of Stoughton Center, which is a nonprofit group. Their mission is dedicated to downtown revitalization. And this program, I found out because I work across the hall from Sharon, the Hometown Hero Banner program, it falls right in line with our mission, because one of the things is also to instill pride in our downtown area and also the beautification. So these two things, honoring our veterans and also sprucing up the appearance of the downtown, are something this group supports. And so I brought this to their attention first as just a standalone donation from the group. They actually, I think they were the first group to make a donation to this program, and they voted to submit $1,450 to get the program started. They thought that would be about the first 10 banners. And then later on, I made them aware of this grant program that you have, the community grant program, and talked to Sharon about it, and that's why we applied on behalf of the Friends of Stoughton Center for another $500 to supplement their donation, and that way she can do a little bit more. And I know there's been a lot of interest in the program because I see people going into her office every day asking for applications for the program. And she's done a great job putting together the application and the guidelines and the forms and things and getting the word out about it. So basically, I'm just here to say the Friends of Stoughton Center is making the request on behalf of the Veterans Office.
And that's helpful to us.
Yeah.
We need or would like to see a nonprofit do that versus the town. No offense, Sharon, but
Yeah, but it's a
it
collaborative.
makes
It's a collaborative effort. There are a lot of people that
sure
are
it is.
interested in helping out.
Absolutely.
So you can let me know if there's any questions for me, and otherwise Sharon can give you more details.
Go ahead, Sharon.
I want to thank you for having us, Mr. Chairman. As Pam said, we've gotten a tremendous amount of support for this program. The community is really excited about it. And even though we just publicized it really a few weeks ago, it came before the select board a few months ago, was approved and all that, but we really didn't put word out with the applications until recently. We right now have 40 applicants.
Wow.
Yes. And they're coming in daily. Over the weekend, I had 9.
No kidding.
So they're coming in full force right now. It's out on Facebook. Very excited about it. We have gotten donations. The American Legion and the VFW contributed $2,000 each. We've since got a company in Brockton, Home Health Resources. Her father was a veteran in Stoughton. Her company donated $500. We've got private donations from families that didn't want to take it from somebody else. Our ultimate goal is to not charge the family. We don't feel,
Sure.
Wherever we can. And we're not going to deny anyone. If we run out of funds, we'll still continue to fundraise. And they would be put in the next order as we receive the funds. So it's a huge effort, a huge project. I don't know if you have any questions about it specifically, but it is for all veterans according to Mass General Law, whether they're deceased or still with us. Mass General Law, that just means National Guard would be eligible if they were deployed. So it's really to include everyone. Not everyone is eligible for a memorial square.
Right.
And this is another way of honoring them. Some deserve it. didn't have the qualifications for a Memorial Square, so.
And there are tough qualifications for a Memorial
It's
Square,
extremely
so
tough.
yeah, I
Yeah.
understand exactly where you're coming from on that. Just quickly, do you have an idea as to the cost per banner?
Right now, I'm trying to renegotiate with him with an order of, there was a minimum order of 10, and that's why I kind of started, let's see, get this going, and then I know there's going to be more interest.
Yeah.
He gave me a price of 20 for $145 per banner.
Per banner.
That's not the
Terrible.
bracket that comes with it. We're going to reuse these, we're going to extend the pole.
Right, the ones that we currently have on the
Yes.
poles in the downtown?
Yes.
Awesome.
These are
Good.
24 inches wide
It's
versus.
24
yeah.
feet. That'd be quite a banner. We are honoring them, that's for sure.
So these are 18, the Stoughton ones.
Okay.
These banners are going to be 24 inches, and the brackets are fine. We might have to replace a couple of broken ones.
Sure.
But the rod that it hangs on has to be replaced for the larger banner. I've got a quote of $16 for a set of 2.
Pretty
So-
inexpensive.
Yeah, so I think we've exhausted the light poles. We're now, because there's only 30 or 32.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
30 some odd,
Yeah,
yeah.
a couple are broken, so we're now going to be moving to the utility poles, which I'm waiting on the permission. I think we're okay. And those will require new brackets. So
Okay.
that's probably going to come with the next round.
We'll open it up to the members. Questions from the members?
Yeah, how long do they last, or how long do you plan on keeping them?
That's a good
up?
question.
They told us they're a specific kind of vinyl.
Okay.
They're coated, and they did tell us there's a 3-year.
Oh, wow.
And that's, we'll be taking them down at Veterans Day.
Okay.
They'll hang Memorial Day to Veterans Day.
Okay.
To be preserved for the next year, so they may
So
last
there is a
longer.
period
Oh,
of time.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay,
it won't
good.
be a year-round hanging?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
No, I'm good, I was just curious.
so what was a little confusing to me when it first came to the board was whose program is it? Is it the Friends of Stoughton? Or is
No,
it
it's
the-
a veterans
It's
office.
Veteran Services for the town of Stoughton.
So it's the town of Stoughton's basically.
Veteran
program,
Services.
You know, how much money is veterans or the town contributing to the program?
Well, they are, of course, DPW is going to be doing all the labor. So they are
So it'll be
contributing
in
in that way.
kind.
It's going to be a lot of labor. I also have some money in my budget for events and memorials that I'll be taking from the town, my budget. So it is.
And that's approximately.
We're not sure yet because this came up after the budget was done for the year.
Yeah.
So next year's budget, it'll be increased. It's probably going to be a couple thousand.
Couple thousand.
Will this be a program that will continue through the years?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay.
Yep.
And, I don't know if veterans knows how many veterans, because from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, any veteran that has pretty much served, lives in the town of Stoughton, would be eligible to get one of these banners.
Live in the town of Stoughton or pass in the town of Stoughton, honorably served. National Guard would be active duty
Yeah.
only.
Do we know how many of those people there are?
It's difficult to get an exact number. I have to go by the town census, which there's about 1,200 veterans.
Yeah.
It's declining. A lot have passed. So it could be in the hundreds. I mean, I see it taking a little time, to get to that point.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to do it. There are some
Yeah.
veterans out there that don't want to.
Mhm.
And it's the families. I'm finding a lot of older veterans. I have granddaughters and grandsons coming, their grandparents.
So essentially, I'm not a veteran, but if I was a veteran and I submitted my name or an application,
Yeah.
I would be sort of in the queue to get one of these banners, or is there some other criteria
Yeah,
that's?
the veterans officer and I would go through each application and make sure that their discharge papers are honorable, that there's no discrepancy there. And really, that's the only real criteria is the honorable discharge, and that they live in Stoughton. We have to prove that they live in Stoughton.
And I just had a couple more questions. And how is veterans marketing? So this is basically word of mouth or town crier or?
Yeah, the application did go in the town crier, a few different she skipped 1 week, I don't know why, but it went in several.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip one.
You'll continue, I
Yeah,
presume,
right.
or whoever.
Yeah,
I've
it's
gotta
just,
change
you
it.
gotta write, whatever, yeah.
And I've got to change
Periodically.
the deadline, so I'm gonna probably
okay,
give
so
an
it's up now.
update. It is out on Facebook. I had young man, Michael Flora, I'm not sure if, you know.
It's hard not to know
He's got
Michael.
word out there, and he is actively recruiting. He wanted to make sure, he actually gave me a dozen names of local veterans. Most of them were KIA and Killed in Action, that he wanted to make sure were honored. So we've got referrals, you know, from not just families, but, you know, people that know somebody that really deserves one.
And so your goal for this year, and I know it'll expand over the years, but for the goal for this year is, it sounds like it's about, I don't know, 40.
We have about 40 right now.
Uh-huh.
I have till Friday. I'm sure, I guarantee it's gonna be more this week because of the deadline. And that deadline is only so I have enough time to get that order in, so I can get the flags and get them up by Memorial Day.
Okay.
So I will continue to take applications throughout, you know, every day of the year. It's just a matter of having enough to order where I can get the best price. And that's gonna be, like I said, I have 145 now. That's a quote he gave me for 20 banners. And if I can get a higher.
Might be able to bring
a
it
better
down.
quote for 30 or 40. So I'm working on
I
that.
looked at all 3 weeks.
So the back of the envelope, just in terms of what you just indicated in terms of people that have, including the SRA, you know, it sounds like you've got about $6,000
I have
approximately.
about $6,375
There you
and another couple that came in today for $175 each.
You know,
So I've
it's-
got like just enough to cover
I was going to say
this
it's-
First batch.
Yeah,
to
'cause
get
I was gonna say
just
that would
enough,
give
but
you-
I
that
don't
would
know
give you
what they're gonna
40.
charge for shipping. You know, there could be a few more coming
sure,
in that's gonna
yeah.
put me over, and I'll have to tell them to wait.
Do we have enough polls to put 40 or so?
No.
You're 36 right here in the center.
36 is good.
Yeah.
And I presume this
And
is
they're
going to
gonna go on
continue down
utility.
138 in the main routes. Is that a
Correct.
fair?
We'll go that way first.
Mhm.
And then,
This way.
It's good.
Washington
You know,
Street.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, that way.
And the last thing I have to say, it's not really a question, it's really a comment, and that is that I've seen these banners up now in 3 locations.
Yeah.
Milton, and their little small
Village.
village there, they got about 8 or 10 maybe. And I seen them in, I think it was either Braintree or Weymouth.
That's right.
And Bridgewater has them.
Canton has them, do they not?
Last year.
Yep.
Canton
Canton and
Road.
Holbrook.
They look really
Foxborough.
good, you know, and
Yeah.
Boston has one, but it's not for veterans, it's for women. And they've got, God, about 100 that dot Blue Hill Ave, you know. So I think that it is definitely a worthwhile project, you know. I wish I had known more about the project before we actually voted. But I think it is a really good project and it's worthy.
Well, you're going to get a chance to vote tonight.
Well, that's right.
Yes, we voted to
Just voted to
encourage
encourage.
application, right?
Okay. Well,
As
then in
part
that
of
case,
that
it's good.
process, yeah.
It's good. Thank you for the clarification.
All set?
That's it.
You guys all set?
All set, I think it's a great project, best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I personally
I know.
wholeheartedly support this. I think it's a wonderful project. Many veterans come back not really easily acclimating back into our community. This not only gives Stoughton a sense of pride in their veterans, but I hope it will encourage those coming back to become a bigger part of that community again that they grew up in. So I commend your actions to get this going. And I also want to thank Donna, who was pretty vocal about this
She gave me that
in the
nod.
beginning. So,
Through the finish line.
yeah, and her
Sharon
efforts
brought it across the
to,
finish line.
you know, so thank you all. I'll accept a motion at this point.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to donate $500 to Hometown Heroes. Can I say Hometown Heroes, or do I have to say, because the check won't be going to Hometown Heroes, right?
Well,
Well, it's a program, though.
Okay, so
Yeah, the
$500
Hometown Heroes
to the
program.
Hometown Heroes program.
yeah,
Second.
Excellent. Any further discussion? One thing I do want to ask, and I'm pretty sure I read the budget right, but we have the budget in for
Yes,
this year.
we'll
Make it work.
make
I
it
thought we could, but
We'll make it work.
I took a look at that and I felt comfortable. So if there's nothing further, by voice, all those in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you so much,
Thanks,
both of
Thank
you, for
you.
coming and
Thank you
taking
very
your
much.
time.
And thanks for your service, Mark.
No, you're welcome. I'm probably not going to
I know
disappear
we'll see you
permanently,
around
but,
in many other capacities, I'm
you
sure.
can't help it.
oh, I can. I can help it, all
Thanks
right.
again for your time.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Just
You
look
have
for
a
the
great
yellow
evening.
truck.
I can't wait to see the banners up.
I know.
I know, neither can I. Are you intending to get them up for
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day?
Yeah.
This is
Awesome.
some type of a celebration, or they're just gonna go up and people will.
First we got lights and now that.
I know, we're getting there.
Baby steps.
Slow but sure.
See, it's next.
Do a sneak peek, I just wanted to see it. Do you have a minute?
Sure, I mean, I'm familiar with them, but
Yeah,
members might,
there's
you know.
specific one. I had a proof. Maybe I don't.
Oh, is it with someone's picture?
It might be.
Is it on the second?
And now that you're on,
Oh, it's gonna look like, I can show you. It's this bottom one here,
Very nice.
if you wanna.
Yeah, don't,
I
Pass
saw
it
I
around.
saw it in
and
the
now that
thing.
you're,
oh, nice, that one, yeah.
Nice birthday.
Only on the top, it's gonna say Stoughton proudly honors instead of hometown hero.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Do
and
you
and
guys
now
want
that
to take
you're
a
on,
quick look?
if you
You've
get
seen it?
inquiries, where, up until the
Yeah, so
deadline.
Stoughton Veteran Services, right,
That's where you
third
can get
floor
the
town hall.
application.
Third floor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You got that, Bobby? They do look great. Thanks again.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
All right, item number 6 is the Lisa tenant at will discussion for Perry Street. So what I did was I have the lease we signed with Pam Carr at Mad Mama Vintage that can function as a base. I mean, first of all, I know we've had a number of discussions. Do we want to sign a lease or not? Roberta, you've made it clear that you did not feel a lease would be beneficial.
At this point, no.
At this point, I'm not sure I disagree with that, particularly where we have a number of pieces yet to be
Yeah.
worked into it. I know Reggie has given us, and we'll look at a sort of a draft budget tonight. I do think it's a good idea to put on paper what it is her responsibilities are versus our responsibilities. So everybody can be on the same page on that. That lease document can be altered in any way, shape, or form you want. It doesn't have to say lease. It could say tenant at will agreement. It could say whatever you want. This is really an effort to protect the authority. So before I go tearing this thing apart and putting it into some bullet form, I want to get a sense from the authority as a whole, because it'll be one of my last actions. Do you want this document or not? And if so, I need to know what to put in it.
I will say, and I apologize because I did do some work on this here, but I did talk to the guy that I work with, attorney for real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained the situation to him and, indicated that, we're really just starting out. We have a tenant and all the other stuff above, and he actually recommended that, if it's not a lease, then we should at least put it in a letter form that sort of outlines that we are the new owners effective such and such a date, and what the rent is, basically what the responsibilities are. In the event that something goes south, and we said you just never know. It's probably a very good tenant, but if something goes south, we have something that said this is what we all sort of agreed to, as opposed to not having anything. On the private side, he said that's, if people want to do it on the private side, that's fine, but from a government's perspective, we need to have something that indicates that we're the owners, this is how much, and what the responsibility.
You're the tenant at will.
Yeah.
You could continue to be a tenant at will as long as the certain very basic items are addressed, the payment of the water bill, which again will have to change as you activate the other spaces in this building.
Right.
Or, you know, something's going to have to change. It's going to have to be altered over time, which is why I actually agree with Roberta that a lease is a bit on the premature side. You know, what, if any, the tenant's responsibilities are for the inside envelope of the building? Is there any responsibilities for the outside? Snow removal responsibilities, things like that. So, these are all pretty easy to put into paper and into this form. It's a matter of 5 minutes of wordsmithing, but I need a sense from all of you as to what you want to do. So, Bobby, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of premature to, you know, get a lease, let's get our, you know, ducks in a row here. But yeah, and anytime you can communicate with parties during a business, it's great. There's no misunderstandings. There's no, I thought this, you thought that, I was under the impression, or whatever
Right.
the case is. So yeah, I have absolutely no problem indicating, introducing us as the new owners. This is, we're responsible for A, B, C, and D. You're responsible. Yeah, and maybe some type of wording at the end, and that gives us the flexibility to say at some point we may be, going into the lease arrangement at some point where, and we met her. She was very easy to work with, and so yeah, I think it protects us, protects her.
She didn't give you any indication that a lease would be an issue for her, that she would prefer an at-will.
I think it was more at-will. Yeah, it was more of an at-will. So,
and you can continue that
Yeah.
process if you so choose.
Yep.
But again, this is about protections
Right.
for all parties, really.
right, and I think it protects us as well as a tenant at will. She, there's a certain timeline that she would have to give us if she does decide to go in a different direction. So we're not,
And you can outline that.
Right.
And,
So,
and furthermore, you can stretch that out. Maybe you prefer a 60-day period or a 45. I don't know. I just think it doesn't hurt to have that on paper. She knows what her responsibilities are. You know what yours are. And,
yeah, so I don't really have a problem with it. Like I said, once we get everything aligned, then we could get a little bit more formal in the sense of, okay, this is what we're going to be doing going forward.
And you may end up keeping it
Yeah.
tenant at will. But these are important factors that all parties understand. Roberta, any other comments on this?
No, I don't mind a letter saying we're the new owners, this is your rent. It's due on this such and such, it needs to be deposited here, because that's basically, we've made that with the account number on it, the bank, so she knows where it goes on the first of the month. And that she needs to take her trash, take her own trash, she needs to keep the premises clean. And basically saying to her at this point, we just want to let you know where we stand, but in the future we may consider doing a lease with you, but at this time things are still in works, so we just wanted to. So it's basically, she pays the water bill, that too.
Yeah.
And then we will have to deliver to her because we're getting the water bill, so we'll, and how it's due quarterly. I did let her know about the last water bill. How she's not gonna get one till May. I let her know that.
Yes. No, I was aware of that.
Yeah, and so, just to inform a letter and keep it as that, but yeah, I don't want to say anything on there that this is a lease or this is any type of situation.
And I actually think that to say, for this time period, so it's not a lease, but until April 1st, 2025.
And I guess at the end, and saying,
whatever.
if you do plan on, quitting the property, we would require a 30-day notice, standard procedure, a 30-day notice.
Do we want 30? Do you want to try and extend that a little? I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
That's usually what the...
Yeah, it's usually 30 days from the first of the
Right.
month.
Right, before. So on the 28th, you can say, I'm gonna be moving out on May 1st.
Right.
You gotta give them a full 30
Gotta
day
give them a full
notice.
30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's standard. Why do we need to change it? I don't think she's going anywhere. I'm not a mind reader,
Yeah.
but she's been there. And I get the whole tenant at will, because you just never know. After her first year, you never know, something may come up that she may want to move to.
Right.
That's right around the corner.
Oh, sure, yeah.
We don't
I mean,
wanna-
we don't need
we
to
don't
tie her
wanna-
down,
Exactly.
but given that she's the tenant at will, and given your plans for the space for the future, do you want to give yourselves a clause to be able to say, hey, we need that space? And if so, what's the time period on
No, I don't want to push her out of there.
that? You may want to, you may have to,
Why would you want to put that in the letter?
because she needs to understand all the facts,
I have
that
no
you
idea.
have the ability to do
Well,
that.
I think she knows that since we own the property. That would scare me. If I saw that, okay.
It's a valid question. I
Yeah.
mean, I've signed leases before, and if the owner needs it for,
Yeah, I
some reason, they can boot you.
yeah, I don't want to put that in there.
I think the 30-day notice
Is enough.
is enough.
Okay.
Because if we do need it, we can give her 30 days
Right.
from the first,
Right.
blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we got to get in the rest of the property.
Oh, I'm aware of that, but you could find yourself in a position where the right plan dictates you need the whole space, and it's just something to think
Right,
about.
not considering that at this point, so.
What about rent increases? Do you want anything said
Don't
about
put
that?
anything in there now.
Nothing.
This is just a letter, this
Yeah.
is your
Okay.
responsibilities. These
No
are
problem,
ours.
just want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cost of rent, trash disposal, water bill, 30 days on the 1st.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the bank account number, because she's been depositing the check.
She'll be depositing the check?
She has been depositing.
She's
the
been
check.
direct depositing to our
She's been
account.
walking over to our bank or driving to our bank and depositing.
She has preferred traditionally to use cash, which is legal tender.
Right.
She's willing to deposit through, do you use a Venmo or some
No,
digital
she goes-
version?
She's at Harbor One, she gets the cash and then drives over to our bank, goes there and says,
And they're aware that's all she can do, correct?
I checked twice with the tellers and the supervisor there to say that, there's no one's gonna be getting a balance, anything outside of that.
Okay. And they can't withdraw. Because, All right.
We have
Anything else you want in there? Maintenance on the outside, keep it neat and tidy at your doorways type thing?
No,
Yeah. I think, whatever really she's doing now, we probably need to keep it in place. And then as we progress down the road, so 3 months from now, 4 months from now, once we really decide as a board what else might go in
Right.
there,
Right.
we need to have,
Some flexibility.
well, we need to have the flexibility, but we need to let her know.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what's going to be happening with the building, in September or October or whatever it might be.
Right.
Yeah. So that the lines of communications continue to stay open.
Yeah.
Because she's really and truly like the anchor. She's the anchor tenant.
How about contact information? It's okay to put that in. We're going to use the extension up at Town Hall. Does
She
she?
has my cell phone number, she's been
And that's
contact-
perfectly fine
she's
if she
been
wants to,
contacting me.
but I think we'll make
Yeah.
sure that the formal contact is
Yeah.
there, both email
Yeah.
and telephone.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's all you want to see on it, I could put this together before the end of the week and have it out to all of you, and you
Appreciate it.
can,
Yeah,
can deal with
appreciate that, yeah. I think once we get into the lease, then you can get a little bit more granular and.
you'll have to, but yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, but this is a great way to communicate, keep the lines open,
Right.
no misunderstandings, I thought that was your responsibility, so.
Well, that's the main.
Yeah.
How about storage? She is currently using the space in the back for storage. Do you want to?
She had asked me, because she was working on.
Oh, I know she did, yeah.
Yeah, so she called to ask me even about that. So I said, yeah, that's fine, we're not back there, so I didn't mind her putting it back there. I made an executive decision. And
Oh, and
she said she'd
parking.
move it back.
Do we want to get her in that space
Oh,
after the 15th? I think that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Right. But
It was a
what
big
he's-
part of why,
I
it
know.
opens up that front for her.
What about he's gone, not gone on the 15th?
Well, I think we'll put in the, how about we put in wording that we're in the
Yeah.
process of creating employee parking. It will be clearly marked, and we will,
Yeah.
notify you as to where that is.
She'd probably love to be able to park.
Yeah, I think she might. I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I'll bring in the parking, employee parking. You're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna
Yeah.
line that and lay those cars out
Yeah.
so they're off the road.
Yeah.
Things like that, so. All right, that's it.
Okay.
Would you have to discuss the renovations to Perry Street?
Yeah, I took that item out of order, item 7, because I didn't have the updated agenda, but now I do. So item 6 was actually Perry Street renovations. We did receive 3 finally bids. They should have been in your packet.
They were under action items list initially.
Yeah, they were, because I wasn't sure that I wanted, or I was going to put in a separate line, but then I thought if we're voting on this, we should probably have a separate line item. So did everybody see the 3? I think that's the first. Okay.
I saw 2, I didn't see the third.
So we received an estimate from MV Building and Remodeling. And that estimate total was for $28,500.
Actually, I did see that one.
Yep. And that was to replace both garage doors with doors and windows, level the floor. Well, you saw it, so it's all pretty clear. Bayshant has gave us a price of $7,900. I actually think I know Bayshant. Yeah, I didn't know. I know his mother, if it's the right person.
Yeah, this is-
CCD?
Yeah.
CCD?
Yeah. Well, I'm very fond of Alice. I've known her for many years. So, and his information seems to mimic the information from MV. And then there was a third from Mario's Roofing and Siding, and that came in at $88.75. The only thing that I did not have on Mario's and Bayshant, and I don't know if it came, were license and insurance information.
No, at that point, we just asked them to do it.
Okay.
And I asked, this was the day after Christmas, so I didn't even have any of that
Okay,
paperwork.
no problem at
And I
all.
don't think Bob had it either.
So you've got the 3. We understand, and this was an informal bid. We're not required to go through the process,
Right.
just practice better business practices, as this is under $10,000. Well, in 2 of the cases, it's under $10,000. So at this point, I think I want to entertain any questions anybody has. Traditionally, under better business practice, we would pick the lowest bid, presuming that it properly lays out the same work. But I'm willing and open to discussion at this time. So, Bob, any discussion?
The only thing is, I mean, 28,500.
It's a whole different.
Oh, don't get tied up in that.
I mean, I just.
Get 3 bids for anything, and you're gonna get one that's
Okay,
like
all right.
out
And
there.
it's a completely different set of things, requirements.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of.
Yeah.
You
It's a whole different thing. And then, go ahead, I'll talk over you.
Feel free, but
Well, it's a more complete
But
layout.
yeah, and.
But we're not replacing the other garage door. I told him that on the phone. So it's
Right.
here nor there.
Right.
It's not a concrete floor. It's
They're concrete floors.
Yeah.
The concrete floors on both sides, but the back door is concrete. All the doors are currently sitting against concrete.
No, I'm talking about the floor. The floor.
Yes, it's all concrete right now.
I understand the floor is concrete, but the leveling was going to be a wooden structure. We weren't going to put the,
The leveling was only for the back door, I believe.
and we weren't going to put replace it's here nor there. There is some discrepancies in the lower price too.
His was a little more complete, yes.
Because one doesn't have the finished work inside. I mean, I can't have studs on the inside. I need a wall. Mario was supposed to get back to me because I didn't want the two-lighted door. I wanted a window. He said it will be about the same price, but I don't have it. But I can't have an unfinished wall in it either. So if he finishes the wall, they're probably built tit for tat.
Right.
So I don't know if I want to make a motion then to accept either. That's what I'm saying. I think we need to call these two and make sure they're both the exact same
What did you
thing.
say, insurance and?
Yeah,
There are a couple of requirements that we must have.
yeah, Fran
We
gave,
need a builder's permit,
Builder's permit,
a
okay.
license,
Yeah.
and supervisor's license,
Okay.
which is usually it's a restricted, it can be an unrestricted, but in our case, a restricted supervisor's license is necessary.
Yeah.
You need to have liability insurance, and you guys do what you want, but from my perspective, a 1-3 aggregate is sufficient. That's $1 million per incident, $3 million cap annually, and you need workman's compensation.
Right.
Those are the 3 bare bones must-have
Must have.
items.
Okay, so I think we reach out to them, we get that information. I mean, just as a suggestion, you spoke with all 3 contractors, you told
Yes, I
them
did.
all the same thing,
Right.
and he came back with this. I don't know if we go back to him and say, hey, or this
Who?
to the 20, I can't believe 25, I mean.
Dude, I see this all the time.
Okay, all right.
You get 4 prices, 3 of us will be within $1,000 or 2 of each other.
Okay.
And then there's another guy that's $100,000
Okay,
more than
that's
anybody
fine. I
else.
just
It
figured-
is not uncommon.
Okay. I just figured you pretty much spoke with all 3 of them. You told them exactly what you were looking for. So I guess we'll get the requirements, the 3 requirements that you're requesting, and then I guess we'll go from there. Does that sound about right? Or
The 2 that are under the 10,000
Yeah.
all fit within the budget.
Better business practices.
Well,
They
and
also
the business
fit within.
practice as well as they
yeah.
fit within the budget.
Yeah.
28, I was like, wow, this is,
Right.
it probably needs it, but at this point in time, we're not there, and that wasn't what was that was not what was
I
requested.
think probably the biggest difference was there needs to be a knee wall built in, a structural concrete knee wall, to properly support that raising of that floor on the back end. I think, the 3rd guy whom I met there was clearly more focused on the structural integrity of the building. I didn't meet the other 2, so I can't say honestly what Goulston's or Deschamps' focuses were, but
he did have some good points there, that's for sure.
yeah, but it's considerably more. And if you were to go with the 3rd, which obviously I couldn't vote for, you have to go with the lowest price if you took a vote tonight. But if you were to go with that one, you're no longer within better business practices.
Yeah,
you really need to shift to procurement.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, our form of procurement's a little different, but we would still need to more or less follow the state process for procurement, which means you would issue a set of bid plans, which you need to have somebody create, and then that goes out. People give sealed bids, you open the bids, and you pick the lowest bidder. So to keep this under 10 is ideal for you as an authority. Even if it meant doing some work this year and some work next, or phasing it over time. Keeping it under 10 is a critical part of you being able to build a relationship with somebody to help you maintain the building.
And it becomes costly. Once you exceed $10,000,
Then everybody.
we've got to expend some dollars.
Yeah, a lot more. So one thing you could do tonight is to make a motion to get the information from the 2 builders, and with greater detail that shows apple to apple comparison, and you would be voting on the lowest bid, basically.
do we need to do a motion for that?
I don't care. It's up to you.
I don't know if we need a motion. I mean,
You do have to say this. You have to give this guy an answer. He's looking for an understanding as to where we're at.
Is that the 28,000 guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just send him a letter.
So we're going to have Donna contact him and let him know that
I
that's
sent
off
you
the
the
table, that we've
procurement thing.
awarded.
Okay.
I just sent him the procurement thing that Fran sent me way back.
Yeah, so what we're doing is
January.
perfectly within
Yeah.
the legal.
Well, I figured he should have it too.
Absolutely, and you
Yeah.
should send it to Reg too, while obviously I would like to have seen this get accomplished, but at the end of the day, I understand you have some questions for both of these builders.
All right, we'll get the information and we'll
Set it on the next meeting.
Yeah, we'll move it forward as quickly as we can.
General liability and directors and officers insurance. Roberta,
Yeah, I went to
What do you got?
John Russell today. They had nothing for me.
they had nothing for you. Great.
But I had nothing for me. She told me so-and-so was out and should call me in a couple days. And I said, that's fine.
Okay.
And I know
So
it's
May
something.
23rd,
Yeah.
your insurance runs out and you find yourselves in an awkward position. The authority has an extreme need at this point because this process takes about generally 45 days to get through the insurance paperwork that we have to
Okay, so
file.
if you want to just continue with who we have, that's fine.
Well, I don't know. I want this body to make a good
It was
decision.
a 45-day process, so.
At least, I think it was 60 last year.
Especially for a new policy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we either need to stick with who you have for general liability and directors, or you need to fold them in, but you need to make a decision now.
So just to be clear, we have two separate policies. Well,
Yes,
in-
one for officers and one
in the
for
goal was to
insurance.
combine them.
No, we already combined.
We already
We
combined.
did the combining thing.
So the liability
This
is off the
separate
table, correct? Russell's doing our liability?
The one that we had for this office, we combined the two. Remember I said they're gonna cancel the
That should
policy?
be liability, yes.
The other one, which is a whole separate policy.
Directors
we
and
figured we'd
officers.
have him look at it
Yep.
in case he could do better. But obviously, I don't have an answer if he can do better.
Okay.
You already have it, you can continue to pay whatever. Maybe he can't do better, maybe he can, I don't know.
Okay.
But if we're worried that we're not gonna have it in time, then just stick with who we have.
Concerned
No
about that
harm,
at this
no
point.
foul.
Yeah.
So you remember the process from last year?
Yeah. The combining of
That
the-
was done
That was done, and that
The
takes care of
general
the
liability.
for this office
in that.
in Perry Street.
Right.
And are we going to split the cost on that, or are we going to put more on?
For budgeting purposes,
Yes.
you can add an additional, we saved some money, so
It was
Roberta
only
will
like
have to give you the
70, it
numbers.
wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a
No.
lot,
It
yeah.
wasn't a lot of money, so when
So
you
we
think
wanna
of
keep
it,
it on
because
this side?
you're paying for the liability,
Right.
obviously not the space, it's the liability, now we're just adding another office, or another,
I'm just thinking in terms of the budget.
I would, if it was
Just
me,
keep
I'd
it all on
50/50.
SR.
I'd 50/50.
50/50? Okay.
I would 50/50.
Now, was that number 17?
It was short money.
It was short money,
Yeah.
you know that.
The officers and directors is
Yeah.
5-6 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take another.
I forget what it was, but that's been done, and we
But we're
should be
gonna-
getting a check for like $70.
Yeah. With the switch over.
I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that, if it's going to be split, that it's reflected in,
Yeah,
it's
I would-
reflected in the
yeah.
budget.
So that policy's coming up May 23rd.
It is, but the paperwork has a lag between us. We have to fill out a 6 or 7 page form
Yeah.
and send that in that lists out our assets and
Right.
so on and so forth. And it takes about 45 days to get that from getting it to our insurance agent to, in this case, it was Travelers we used last year,
Right.
and back to the insurance agent with coverage and signatures.
Right, okay. But my follow-up question with that was, how did we go about paying for that?
We wrote a check
For the whole,
for the whole thing,
Yeah.
for the whole thing?
For the whole thing.
All at once?
all
Yeah.
at once.
Okay.
We do not generally, traditionally, we have not doled it out on a monthly
I don't like
basis.
that, it was
Okay.
whack,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
What, doling it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
every month,
it's cheapest to pay it all at
Yeah.
once.
Okay.
Plus, once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, even from personal,
Right.
like, if we just write a check, which we do for all our insurances,
They'll
you
cancel
get
quick.
significant discounts.
Yeah, no, I did. I'm just
Yeah.
asking. I don't know what you did last year, so that's why I'm asking.
That's what we did last
Okay.
year, yeah. And they offered us a payment plan, but
Yeah.
that's not what we don't have a need for that. So I guess my suggestion would be take some action to start the process with Morse on the directors and officers insurance. The liability we could take off the table because that's now combined. Although you should take a quick minute and look at that and compare it from last year's. Just make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. Although, I mean, Roberta, basically you supplied him with our old policy, right?
You did, you borrowed it
Yeah,
from me.
you
Yes.
took it. I
Yes,
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gave it to him and he says, yeah, I can
Yeah,
combine them and
yeah.
save you a few bucks.
But I don't know, was that the policy you gave me? Or was it the one for that was May 28th one? What one did you give me? May
I believe it
28th?
was the liability, the thick
Yeah.
one.
This happened some time ago.
No, I
when
know I gave it
Yeah.
to him, but I'm concerned, was it the May 28th insurance that you gave me?
They both come up right around the same time.
So which
Okay.
one did you?
Both insurances,
I don't
one
know.
expires on the 23rd, one I think on the 28th.
Okay, so what policy did you give me? Did you give me the
She
one?
gave you the liability
I don't remember. I don't
back in December,
Yeah.
I know, but which one is the liability?
the cheaper
we-
one,
The one we combined?
the one we combined.
Okay, I thought she gave me the other one.
No.
Okay, shoot, because I told the girl that, well, I gave you the policy. I gave you the policy for the other
Poor
thing.
girl's looking for it
Okay,
right
so
now.
there's really nothing that they can look at then for our
They
other
just
thing.
need to give us, yeah, we have a policy for directors and officers. Provide that to Roberta, please.
No, you're saying it's too late.
No, what I'm saying is that this authority needs to take action now to start the process at Morse.
Okay.
Okay, you've got 50-ish days between now and the end of the policy. Get the ball rolling at Morse. We don't have to go with Morse until we pay the bill.
Okay.
And you can authorize payment of the bill in April once you have the estimate. Meanwhile, you can still work with Russell.
Okay.
He may be quicker. I don't know. I'm only telling you what they do at
Okay.
Morse Insurance.
So I received something
Yeah, why do you
that
have to
said,
refill it out every day?
We're up. And we're canceled. They won't
Right,
insure
right.
us. It's because Travelers doesn't have the information they need.
now, is that because Traveler didn't ask us, or?
No, this was the same problem we had last year. Morse Insurance doesn't contact us until essentially 30 days before the policy expires. This year she did it early. She got it to us 60 days ahead. I had said to her boss last year, hey, no more. You get it to us in January or forget about it.
Right.
They did do that this year, so they gave us a little bit of extra time this year. It was later than January, but it wasn't
Why, I
on the
guess
wire.
I'm just kind of curious.
But they sent, and hang on a sec,
Yeah.
Roberta, they sent that information to you because they don't have that 6-page form back yet.
Okay,
And they, again, 45-day period, so they're like, hey, you're up against it now.
right. So,
It means nothing. Yet.
and that's the director's,
This is the director's.
which is important.
Yeah. This is the director's policy. Without it, you can be held personally
Right, no,
liable
I
for
understand
anything
that.
that happens here.
So why isn't it just roll over like a car insurance?
I don't know. It's the same thing as workman's comp. They do this to us every year.
Okay.
You go through this hellacious audit
Okay.
that you don't need to go through. Nothing's
Okay.
changed. No, you don't make any claims, but it doesn't matter. You still have to spend the day and a half
Okay.
going through the misery. Just part of the deal.
Okay.
Yeah, no
Enjoy
fun.
it, Reggie.
We gotta
Yeah.
fill out this form, right?
Yes.
Provide some information. you know?
But we do not go with Morse until that check is written, until we give the okay,
So. I
which
can't-
gives you time to work
Okay.
with John Russell.
Do you have that 6 or 5?
I actually have it. We received it as part of that email. I will,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. I'll get that to you.
I'll do it this, what's today? I'll do it
It's a part of it that you can't ignore. We're up against it.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have an issue with, I didn't think that every year you had to go through this mess.
Every single
roll it
year.
over like car insurance.
Nope. Wish it was, but it's
Policy
not.
goes up, you know?
Send you a bill, and you pay it, you cut it.
No, I wish it was, but it's not.
All right, so.
All right, so
Mark, you're
Reggie,
saying
you're
that.
on that?
Yep, I'm on that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll send that to you.
I'll make the motion, Reggie's on that.
So the motion should be that we're going to begin the process with Morse Insurance to renew our directors and officers policy, but that Roberta you still have the ability
Okay.
to hunt it with Russell.
Okay.
All right?
Fill
So
it out this week.
you got that? You're going to make that motion?
Yes, so moved.
Okay.
Second it.
Great. Any further discussion? Hearing nothing. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Go ahead, that's unanimous, Donna. All right. Not terrible. We got that done. Pearl Street, Perry Street budgets. I don't think you have to spend a lot of time on the Perry Street budget, Reggie, but
No,
I know you and Bob worked on this, so.
And I sent, and I couldn't print it out, but I did send it to everybody, and there are some notes
Yep.
that are associated with it. You know, and I'm getting more comfortable with the budget every week. It's not quite there, you know, because you know I've got to amend the numbers on the insurance. I think I'm okay with the taxes. What I did on the water bill is there were 4 quarters in 2022 that I used as opposed to a half a year in 21 and I think 3 quarters in 23. So I used 4 quarters of 22 to come up with what I thought would be a good number in terms of the water and sewer, water rather. That number may change, but as you see as we go down, there were three potential rents that we could charge. $350, $400, and $500. At the $350, we were still okay. And reason being is I actually, as opposed to by space, I computed it by square foot. And I averaged it out at each person may have 300 square feet. And that was based on what, Mark, you sent me, you know, which was approximately 1,500 square feet. You know. And I broke it up into 300.
When I was there, I measured the space for
I was just
Reggie
gonna
and
ask
sent
you
him
about that.
actuals. That's what he was looking for. I apologize
So
for
that number,
interrupting.
you know, goes from $350 to $500, and as you can see, you know, the bottom line increases as you go up. I heard what the board had to say in terms of we really don't need to make a sort of a profit for the SRA. So a good portion of whatever is left over gets reinvested into the building.
As it should be.
What I did do, though, was I got, I think it was a 5%, either a 3 or a 5% return on our investment.
I see that.
You
at the
know,
bottom.
that gave us, I think, a little over $1,000 or somewhere around there, that we would get at 350, and it goes up, you know, according to the rent. The main purpose in terms of trying to do it that way was to make sure that we weren't, in terms of the SRA, subsidizing the building. The building needed to be able to carry itself.
Right.
The other thing that I added in there was management of the building, because as right now, I think we're okay with I forget her name, the tenant, you know, depositing her check into or the cash into the account. But as we get tenanted up, there could potentially be more issues that arise on a weekly, monthly, annual basis. So I put in there 10 hours a week, I think at $25 per hour, and it came out to approximately $1,000 a month, $12,000 on an annual basis. I did that because at some point there will be an issue. I don't know what that might be, but
Sooner probably than later,
you know,
but yes.
and I knew that I did not want to be the person that they was going to call at 10 o'clock at night. I talked to Bob. Bob said he didn't want to be the person that was going to get called.
No, you don't want to go?
And I wasn't sure about Roberta, you know. But, you know, when winter comes, spring comes.
A roof leak.
Electrical
Windstorm damage.
Something.
Yeah.
You know, so I put in what I thought was the minimal of 10 hours on a weekly basis, which comes out to be about 2 hours a day. I wasn't sure about, you know, how do we open or how do we close, because we really don't have, you know, sort of a policy around that. You know, who's going to open the building, who's going to close the building, things of that nature. How many, you know, not sure if it's a good idea, depending on how we actually build out. You know, if it's just going to be tables, or, you know, is it actually going to be a build out? You know, we don't want to have somebody come in with a key at 7 o'clock in the morning and take the honey.
So the guy shows up for the honey at 8, it's missing.
And he calls somebody. You know, you got to call somebody. I didn't want it to be me, so I said we should probably put some.
It shouldn't be you.
There,
No.
you know? I'm trying to think what else did I put in there.
I mean, you know, I don't foresee you using that initially, but I do think that will be something.
Not initially, but down the road, I
Yeah.
think, you know, so, you know, for the time being,
No, this is what a budget's
we got an anchor
about.
tenant.
Yeah.
It's really good that we don't have a mortgage payment. I included the taxes because we don't know how that's going to go. I did meet with Stan Zoll.
Yes.
And I just brought it up as an issue, you know, and you know, he said that 2015 there was something similar that was brought to the select board, and the select board never did anything or acted upon it, you know. And he said that he was going to do some more research. You know, and I thought then, I said, okay, this is probably a year to a year and a half down the road.
Yes.
It took us 8 months to get on the agenda for the URB, you know, so I'm saying the 6,000 is
really
probably
on the
going to be there.
agenda.
So I definitely made sure that it was included in there.
Which is,
You know?
if we can manage to recover through a pilot some of that tax money, those are dollars we can invest into programming.
Yeah.
And so what you've done here is still perfectly fine under my, you know, opinion at least. It's a solid budget, gives us an understanding of what it's going to cost. So.
And you know, and some of the, you know, some of the other, I know Bob and I, we met last week, and you know, we said, hey, look, it's really an experiment. If it doesn't work down the road, you know, that we can easily recoup our investment because we really did get a good deal on the building. And
Yeah, I think we
we're
paid a
more
fair
than sure.
dollar for the building. I don't think we overpaid.
So we're, you know, I felt really comfortable. So whichever one that we pick, I can't recall who it was, but I know it was one of us board members that said we'd like to try to keep the rent as low as possible.
And you've given
and so
this
there's
authority,
3 scenarios.
yeah, you've given them the ability to look at that. I am, when it comes to stuff like this, a middle of the road kind of person for budgeting at least.
You know.
I'd love to see the middle budget adopted, particularly where there's a couple of pieces that won't kick in immediately, i.e. the rent and B, you know, the management aspect of it, but that's just my
and I'll say
opinion.
either one of the 3 are really pretty good rents. You know, because I'm assuming
They're not unreasonable for what they're going to be getting.
because I'm also assuming that we're going to be paying, you know, the utilities and
Yes.
things of that nature. So, you know.
And one thing that
$350, $400, even $500 is a good price.
it's pretty reasonable. There's a piece of this that I am foreseeing some of us struggling with. This is presuming, I presume you are looking at this in terms of breaking this into 4 or 5 spaces. Yeah. If you were to get 10 people, that changes. So what you're really looking at is, this is what we need to cover our month-to-month costs and not lose or bleed money. If that's split 4 ways, it's going to be this. If it's split 10 ways, that decreases.
Right.
I think the key to this is understanding how it's going to split. And that's really up to you as an authority, how many people respond to the advertisement that's going out. And Roberta, I assume that's getting closer.
It's not going out until the building is done.
Yeah.
I'm not
that's a good
entertaining
idea.
anybody in that place to look around and say, huh,
Okay.
this?
Yeah.
They're gonna run scared. Even if they're people who have vision, they're gonna
I
run
have
scared.
no issue with that,
So-
but it is definitely in the works and you
Right.
know it's coming, so that's going to determine how you break down those
Of
rental
course,
costs.
I understand the
Yeah.
numbers. To me, I look at it a whole different way, but whatever
I know you
he's
do.
saying, he has to bring in 1,000, I get where he's coming from,
Okay.
whether there's one tenant of 25 tenants, the $1,000 has to be.
That's
allocated.
a static
I get
number,
that.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand that.
The variable is numbers, so.
Right.
The other thing, and this really doesn't have to do with the budget, it was really the overall concept of the incubator. And I looked into, what other people are doing really around. There are some incubators that are around. Some of them are not called incubators, they're just called shared space.
Yeah. Workspaces or.
And so there's a theme that sort of goes on with a particular concept, So we've got to be able to decide whether or not we would like it to be retail, whether we would like it to be office, or whatever it is, it needs to be pretty consistent as to what that might be.
And this is where Roberta and I are going to agree. The point behind the incubator was to drive retail space, to install or establish small businesses that will fill this downtown center, particularly as these buildings start to remodel, with things that the people living there want.
Right.
So I'm in total agreement that the focus for this incubator model should be retail / maker space. How that, fits, that's sort of organic in a sense. It's natural.
And
Those
I'm okay with
folks
that.
will tell you what they want to see.
I'm okay with that. It really is that I guess I'm thinking that I'm going to probably take on the responsibility in terms of what types of services those people will get.
Right.
So retail people are going to need something different
Right.
than somebody that has sort of an office, so to speak.
So if anybody disagrees, now is the time to say it. But Roberta and I clearly agree that retail is the way
That's
this
how,
goes.
the
Yeah.
whole issue with this was to revitalize.
Correct.
I'm not an accounting is not gonna revitalize
No.
that area of town. The honey guy, the cutting board guy, the yarn lady,
The guy who blows
the
glass,
guy
whatever.
who blows glass,
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah.
who makes
Pottery.
figures with
Yeah.
pencils, anything like that will draw you in there. And the more that we can put in there, the better. So there's a lot to, you're just not gonna go there if it's only honey.
No.
Yeah.
Honey needs the cutting board, he needs the pencil guy, he needs the glass blower, they need.
The T-shirt maker,
They
whatever.
all need to feed off each other. And I gotta get my teacher a gift, instead of getting her another candle, I can get her
This.
whatever. It's-
No, I don't have, I really don't have, my thought process is really around, I'm probably not going to be involved in the who gets in there. I think from my point of view, it's going to be the what types of services that they need. And right away, it kind of.
Retail services.
And a small business still could use loans, they could use
That's
help
right.
with the internet.
Marketing, loans.
Facebook, eBay.
Exactly.
Simplistic bookkeeping.
Yeah,
That's-
bookkeeping, anything.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I think,
Business
from
cards, yeah.
from my
Business cards,
viewpoint,
sure.
Yeah.
rather than having 4 or 5 people trying to figure out all of that
Right.
is kind of like one person, and I don't mind stepping forward and saying, hey, look, I will take a look at, whatever the, I don't need to know what retail. I kind of know what
No, you
retailers
don't.
need.
You don't.
You know,
Right.
so right off the bat,
Yeah.
it's access to capital. Micro type loans and things of that nature.
Financing, purchase of sales, equipment,
And ways to grow their
usage.
business.
Ways to grow their
Exactly.
business. Social
marketing,
media.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I
So
have.
as the things come along, we'll say, hey, Reggie, we gotta do, so we haven't done something for a couple of months. What do you think we ought to do? I'm gonna call the bank and get a bank guy over there, whatever it is.
Right. So I have made some inroads. There's a fairly newly merged bank with West Bridgewater and some other bank that I have made contact with. They're based out of Mansfield. This is not their footprint. Their footprint is kind of like from Brockton all the way to
South.
But I explained to them what it was that we were attempting to do, and would they be willing, at their cost, of course, to provide some services. So they asked me, well, what type of services right off the bat? So I said, well, they're financial literacy. Budgets, financing,
Bookkeeping.
access to capital. I threw in there at
Access
the
to
last
capital,
minute,
yeah. Yeah.
And they said, oh, absolutely. Just let us know what it is that you need. They says, because, we should be doing that, even though it's not our footprint, we would not mind doing that, And there is a model that is out there that basically says you don't need to have a banker there every
Right.
day.
Oh, no, this
But
doesn't require
you
that.
may need somebody to kind of like show up once a month.
Maybe.
Or once a quarter.
Right.
Once a quarter,
Right,
exactly.
right.
Something that
Or twice a year.
And
Whatever.
the beauty of this, Reggie, was supposed to be the people, I'm good at, say, Facebook. You're good at balancing the checkbook. He's good at
Marketing.
whatever.
Yeah.
And, okay, what do you got for you?
You're good at nothing.
But it's supposed to help each other
always
collaboratively to say, hey, no, I can help you with your Facebook account. I can help you with your,
So
here's a
have fun with
calculator.
this.
there's the model is good. The incubator I think will be, I'm going to be real positive and think that it will really work.
I hope so.
And remember, when that incubator was written, it wasn't written specifically for any one of these things. It was written to touch anything and everything that you could think might be of use. So it includes social media, it includes many marketing aspects, financing, bookkeeping, capital, access.
If at one time when we're not all real busy, they do have a model that's located on School Street in Brockton. And it's a version of what they call the SBDCs. And it interests me, for one reason. SBDCs are funded through the SBA and what's called the Small Business Development Centers located out of Amherst. And they provide...
UMass Amherst.
Yes, UMass Amherst.
Which would be a good resource to tap into.
It is a really good resource to tap into because what they, down in Brockton, what they do is they have, different people that come in on a weekly sort of basis. And small businesses throughout, not just in that
Brockton,
one location,
yeah.
but throughout can come in for various types of assistance, So, somebody that is located as a small business on 138, if they knew that, wow, I can go over here on January 2nd and get some ideas about bookkeeping, that's where they would, we have to figure out how to get them registered. But it is downstream, because right now Boston is the largest city in New England and they're the only large city that does not have an SBDC. Their SBDC was defunded. And that used to be at UMass Boston. You know,
Was
you don't
it
get a lot of
UMass
money.
that defunded it?
The
Was it the
SBDC defunded it. You know, and what they did was they relocated it to Newton somewhere. You know, so essentially nobody is getting that type of service in Boston. In Brockton, you know, they've got a bunch of different programs that we are eligible for. When we talk about access to capital, we talk about Southeast Economic Development Center. They're a nonprofit that does micro loans, and they define micro loans as anything under $25,000. Because they're a nonprofit, they don't go through the regular bank criteria. You know, so somebody can come and, you know, I need $5,000 to get my stock.
Yeah.
You know, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You know, I will. You know, I think more on, you know, because I really don't know what types of retailers are around.
Neither do I.
And I really don't want to be. I don't really want to be involved in trying to make those
come on.
selections.
No, and you don't
No,
have to.
that's your niche, Reggie.
That's my niche,
We
yeah.
know that's your niche. You know,
So-
you're the calculator money guy. We know that. Yeah, so that's good.
So
He's also the guy who was able to connect the different pieces that this authority will need, such as the Small Business Administration and their funding.
yeah, and I'm not. You know, to me that's not. For me, it's not heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and for somebody else.
But it is very important
You know,
for
of
this
course.
authority to have access to that.
I'm
so.
fine with that, you know. So that's, you know, and that budget really is for discussion. I put as many notes on
Well,
there as I could.
it's kind of like a lease or no lease. There's so many variables still up in the
That's
air,
right.
Reggie. You do the best you can with what you got to work with, and
It just
that's
gives you an
fine.
idea.
Exactly.
You know,
My instinct with this, if it is the will of the authority, is to approve the middle budget for the moment, knowing that it's a living document, and it is the framework, really, for what needs to happen moving forward. I'd be perfectly fine with something like that. I think we all need to be comfortable. Whichever of the three you pick is fine. The middle of the road does give us a little more flexibility for those oopses.
Yeah.
And looking at our annual budget as an SRA, you don't have a whole lot of room for oopses at the end of the year. And I know one of the things that is looks to be severely underfunded might be that MEPA application.
well, yeah. Now on the MEPA, if I can,
And we're jumping now
I
to
know,
the,
I know.
okay, yeah.
you know, I have been in contact with Jeff, and actually I was pleasantly surprised to understand that we're pretty much caught up.
Yes.
And we have paid money for the MEPA application.
I don't think we've paid enough, but it
No, it's
it
not
has a
fully-
lot to do with what it's gonna end up being,
It's
obviously.
it looks like we've paid approximately 50%
Yeah.
of the MEPA application, which originally was 16,000. You know, I will double check that again because I got it. You know, late last
I would
week.
agree with what you're stating.
Right.
And-
Here's the struggle with the MEPA. The city of Quincy is 50 some odd thousand into that MEPA application as it stands. Yeah. And now I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And they're now working with the state to reduce that, and we might be able to ride that coattail. But the point is, they have no idea what they want, let alone what is expected from us. So I don't think what you've done is unfair. It's just a caution that may in fact end up a little bit underfunded.
And if we need to, we can go back into the portfolio.
You can.
You know, if we need to. But I think it is important.
So you understand a portion of that is currently tied up in treasury notes. Those are treasury notes that revolve, meaning when they expire, if it's still beneficial to us, they will roll them back in. They have a little bit of latitude when it comes to how they handle this. So they have certain markers. And if they see we can do better on the market, than we can in T-bonds, they will make the shift and notify us, but they have the authority to shift that money where we made a different, we increased the structure of our investments a little bit.
A little more risk.
A little more risk, but we're balancing that by insuring through the T-bonds. So I did have a conversation with Michelle Newcomb about this, and she assured me she would send me something before the 1st of April. But basically, they're managing that on a 3-month basis or a 6-month basis. So some of that money, maybe 60 or so thousand, is tied into T-bonds. We still have some latitude there, but just be aware that it may not be as reactive as quickly as just a few days.
And I'll tell you, going to try to be, now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm going to try to be a little more aggressive with the banking consortium. Stan and I, we sat down, we both agreed that underneath of the current CRA, that the banks in Stoughton are not ponying up.
No, they're not. And I'm glad you had that discussion. That was something I was going to bring up.
That, it was time to come up with what an ask might look like.
We need 50 grand to run this program, and we need it now.
We need about 50 grand. You're absolutely right.
I didn't pull that out of the air. I know exactly what you need.
And to me, that's not a big deal for folks. Now,
no,
I will
isn't.
say this: I checked with, after I met with Stan, I checked with the reporting, because all the banks have to report their CRA activities, and they get a report card, so to speak. Everybody is in compliance.
Because it's easy to be in compliance.
It's very easy to be in compliance.
If towns don't ask, they're not required to give. They use their charitable donations, the banks do, as an encompassing sort of everything. So you see a lot of emails coming from Abington where we bank, and they're always doing this or that, win a hat, wear a hat, win a prize kind of thing. Oh, we're giving to the soup kitchens, we're doing. That can be counted for all communities if no singular community has a particular ask. However, they don't do anything particular because we don't ask. We have the ability here at the SRA to ask, and we need to start asking. You need the money.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to get a little more aggressive as the summer gets here, and hopefully put in, a proposal, because I think that we have a really good opportunity because of the incubator.
Well, you can also give them a hard time if they don't, and they know that. So.
Well, yeah, but I think that they're at that point where it's like, well, nobody's asked, so why upset the apple cart? But to ask for 10 grand, from each bank, is not unreasonable. Even if they was to come back and give you 5 grand, 5 grand I think can be.
But we got the better part of 10 banks, so you can ask 10 for 5 or 5 for 10. It don't matter.
So and you give them the same proposal. Yeah. So and
you're only writing one.
Only writing one.
Just directing it to a different person.
So the only other thing that I have around the budget, and I think this is really important, is that we keep the money separate. So the money for 2-4 Perry Street
is separate,
because it's all going to be, whatever money we get from that is going to go back into that. To commingle those monies with the SRA dollars will be a little bit difficult to try to figure out, this month, what did we spend? How much did we get? If we keep those dollars separate, then we can really report out, this is how much money we're actually making. And if we have to subsidize.
But that's what this was for.
But that's what this is.
Yeah.
This is what this was for.
And this isn't a matter of keeping 2 separate accounts. This is a matter of keeping 2 separate sets of books. That's where this is important.
Yeah.
It's not about where the dollars are put in the bank. It's about ensuring that you all have a clear, or whoever comes after us has a clear understanding of what's being spent where.
Yeah. Because I think that's very important. We can you can get comfortable and look at the account and say, like right now, you can look at the account, and I forget how much we actually have in there, because when you sent me the new information.
Not enough.
I didn't go on to see exactly.
Yeah.
But I saw what we had when we came into the year.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, you're coming into the year, it was like $40-some thousand. You kind of go, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of money.
No.
And it's
No, we
not
don't.
really a lot of money, but a lot of people would think that it's a lot of money, because everyone that I'm talking to, when they say, well, if you increase your money, that means the town's got to give you more money. I said, no, we don't depend on the town, and they're very surprised at that, So
Now, how that looks in the future, whether or not you collaborate with town staff, which I think would be beneficial to the authority, depends on how the rest of this urban renewal plan goes, which we're at the finish line. We've got a timeout called, and they're still reviewing the tapes, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
But
I think that, that's why I think the whole buying the building was really a good.
it's a good thing for us.
It's a good thing. Well, I think it also sends a great message. Is we're not waiting around. We're doing something.
Good, because I want to buy something else.
What?
I sent it to you last time. We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So just a couple of quick things just to add to that. Are you able to get into the checking account?
I don't. You sent me the information. I got it.
Okay.
I didn't even try, to get into it.
And the other one, are you able to get into?
I haven't tried that one, but I'm sure I can get into that
You
one.
guys work out the debit card.
I have it here. I'll give it to Donna before we
Okay.
leave. So yeah, I did get that.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm gonna, each week I feel a little bit better each week. I'm in physical therapy now. They're killing me.
Well, good.
I feel
It
like
means
I'm
it's
going-
working.
I feel like I'm in training.
Right, yeah.
But things are getting better, and
Good
spring
to
is
hear.
here.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
No, a lot of good ideas. I like reaching out to the bank. That's a definite another source of income to
Should
help
be,
yeah.
to help out with that. And as far as the taxes are concerned, what's the goal with that? Are we going to send an email reminder to Stanley in the group, or what's the best course to, obviously
We have to meet with town council. That's our next step.
Okay.
When I am able, Reggie is out on vacation. When she gets back, I hope to have a meeting set with town council on that.
Okay.
Which I may very well not be involved in because I may be off the board at that point.
Okay.
So you're going to be included in that, all of you. And then where it goes,
Okay. So that's the next step, and then
Town council needs to tell you that, yes, you can ask for this, and they need to say,
Right.
we would be willing as a town to
And nothing
work
against
something
Stanley,
out.
but he's a volunteer just like us.
Yeah.
There's
No, he's
legal
paid.
authority.
Right.
He's paid.
Oh, that's right, but he doesn't have the legal authority.
He's not an
to-
employee, he's a
Right,
contractor
But he
that's
doesn't
paid.
have the legal right to give us the tax.
Ultimately, no.
Yeah.
They recommend,
Yeah.
and ultimately, it's the town management and select
Right.
board. I
Yeah.
believe it's in the purview of the select board to approve a pilot.
They do
Yeah.
TIFs and everything else, so I would think.
Yeah,
it's kind
I'm
of the
99%
same
sure it's the
nutshell.
select board that makes the
Yeah.
final
I
decision.
would just-
Stanley makes the recommendation, or
Just the way-
Stanley's board.
Just the way things are, I think the sooner the better. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, like you said, you gotta meet with town council. Somebody's
I
gotta
know,
meet
but I
with
mean,
town
what I'm
council.
saying is let's meet with them, let's
Right.
schedule, let's.
So,
Yeah.
town council has hours here
I know,
on
yeah.
Thursdays.
Is it
I'm
Thursday?
willing to walk
Okay.
up Thursdays and have a conversation with Brian about it.
Sure.
Let him set up the meeting, I mean, I'm still like 10 days on
Yeah.
this, so if we can pull a meeting together, and I'll just ask him to, hey, if you could find time, I can get the guys together quick enough, and we'll do it.
Yep.
He's gonna say, yeah, we're interested in working with you.
Yeah.
He's not gonna set what it is. That's what the assessors are for.
Right.
Town council's view is to look at it, ensure it's a legally binding contract that protects the town and the authority and all others involved. So,
The one thing I did with both of the budgets that you all received is all the calculations, all the formulas rather, are in place.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play with
Get it out
what
there.
would happen if there was no taxes,
Yeah.
the entire budget would change for you without trying to get a calculator out. The formulas are
And
all
that
in
means
place.
you could, in theory, charge less for, and that was really the point. Although, let's say we don't get any money from the SBA and no help from anybody else, you have to pay out of pocket. You kind of want to be able to have a little bit of seed money to do those things, because the more money you have to do those, the more services you can offer. With that said, you want to try and keep those numbers as fair as possible. So, I don't know how that all pans out, but I think it's important that you have a budget. We all understand the Perry Street budget is a living document, per se, as is both of them, really. We've always treated them that way. But this provides fences for us. We know these are our limits, so to speak. And if we want to go beyond these limits, we need to talk about it as a group and make a decision as a group to go beyond it. Which is why I would like to see approval of these things. I want to get the letter off to DHCD, EOHCD, DC now, whatever the heck it is, EOHDC.
Yeah. We're okay.
Because we're at that point. So that's been signed. I just got to give it to you. Yeah, I'm going to print it.
Yeah, that's, we're okay.
We're
So they
okay.
need our budget?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, but where we're sending the state information, an annual review of sorts, part of that is we have a budget in place and we use that budget. And we've been successful at using that budget for, the last few years. I mean, Reggie created this 2 years ago, I think we started this. 22, I believe, 21 or 22, we started the process. Prior to that, we didn't have anything in place. As a matter of fact, we had a chair and a treasurer that were one person. So that was
So
not.
what do you want, a motion to accept?
I want a motion to
budgets?
accept both of these budgets,
Okay,
yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2-4 Perry Street budget and the
SRA.
general SRA budget.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Second. Well, can I second?
Yeah, you can second. Why not?
You sure can.
Anybody can make a motion, anybody can second it. Any discussion beyond what we've already had? Hearing none, by voice vote, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's it, thank you. I know we have finance review on here.
Yeah. Talked about the taxes.
I don't think, we can skip the tax exemption. The annual report is gonna be printed tonight, so Donna can mail that.
The
Legal
report letter,
bills,
right?
I'm
Annual
sorry?
report letter.
Yes, the
Yeah,
letter, I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
the letter,
If I can
yes.
just say on the annual report, I got one piece that I need, and there's just a few items that appear on the the January 2024 statement. And that's what Bob sent me.
Okay.
And I need to just go in there and grab those few items, and then the budget
it to
will
her.
be complete
She's done.
for 2023. And that gives me better negotiation leverage with the people that will actually do.
And she plugs the numbers in
She
and
just plugs
sends
the
it off.
numbers in and won't have to.
I know there's not a hard and fast deadline on this, but April 15th is sort of a magic number for all of us.
15th is actually.
Tax day.
Yeah, no, it doesn't actually count for this,
I know,
but
it's a good remembrance.
it's a good, right, that's exactly why I use
Yeah.
it, so.
That's why I say, we're okay, is because
Yeah.
the new administration isn't quite sure where these things go. Last year, when we submitted it, they sent it back. And I actually had to walk it downtown, and they were like, well, what is this? And I said, and they took it,
Just stamp it.
And I'm sure now that it has been changed from DHCD to
Exactly.
to
But
EOHCD.
it's good to be able to get it in,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Anything, so I'll give you the letter tonight, you'll complete or continue with that project. Any further discussion on the BSC situation, or have you pretty much covered that?
pretty much.
Pretty much covered. And legal
Well,
bill,
I should say that BSC has submitted everything from day one up until most recent, so even some of the amendments. So they've actually lined out everything that was billed, everything that was paid, and what it was for from.
And they're aware we held our nose and approved the extra fees. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I know they are, but
Yeah. You know, now
So
Jeff,
when are they gonna get those additions? I saw,
there's been a series of emails from Jeff Vassar
okay.
that have said, hey, where are
I
we?
thought it was.
And we've gotten no response from the town
Okay.
as of yet.
that's the town.
So that means they haven't received it?
No, they've received it.
So Jeff did the correction?
Let me rephrase. I apologize. Pam McCarthy responded, "Hey, I'm all set." Mark, Bill, and I have not heard anything from Tom, Mark, or Bill to date.
Okay, so the corrections or the additions have been done and supplied?
Everything's been done
Okay, and supplied to the town? Okay.
and supplied to the town some weeks ago.
Are you sure?
No
Positive.
way. We just voted on the money 2 weeks ago.
No, that was different. He recognized he needed more money,
Yeah.
but everything that he was supposed to do, to my knowledge, has been done. He is
So
still
why-
waiting for the town to
All
schedule
right,
it
so why do we vote for additional money?
because he asked for additional
Yeah, but
money.
I thought he wasn't gonna do it unless we paid him.
I don't know about
Yeah, it
that.
was 7 changes.
Yeah.
So we're 7 changes, you're right.
So they did those changes, you're saying?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
I don't think I think his email indicated that wouldn't be done until April 24th, if I remember correctly.
I
That's
don't
what I
know.
thought.
I didn't see it.
No,
I think that's what he said, yeah.
I
don't
didn't
know.
follow
I'm not
that
in that
one.
loop.
Because they had a glitch with the mapping system. you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so it hasn't been done then.
Okay, so I was not aware, I haven't
Okay.
seen that one. But
So don't
I will
throw
say
the town
this,
under the bus
regardless of what is going back and forth, no, the town has not responded to his requests.
Yeah,
Right.
he has been asking.
And yeah, I'm gonna throw them under the bus, because it's on them. They need to answer their emails.
Okay, I thought he was told changes to do, and now it appears that they haven't done them.
Yeah, so and I think we all got this. Yeah, hi all. I'm following up with a message about meeting with the Board of Selectmen. I highly recommend the board put the URP on the agenda for the April 2nd meeting.
Yep.
There is no meeting.
Right.
Who knows there's no meeting? We don't know
It's a town
that.
election.
No kidding, you don't think they've done that before?
They don't, because Mark, they don't
They
know
have.
who 2 people, what selectmen are gonna be sitting there.
They have.
No, they have not. Not for a town election.
Yes.
You can't have an election and not know at 7 o'clock who's gonna be voted in at 8 o'clock.
It's happened.
No.
All right, so anyways,
Go back to
just
the
to
thing.
answer that,
Town
it
election.
says BS plans to get you an updated draft by Friday, April 22nd. I hope that the appropriate people can give it a quick review and get any comments to us by Monday,
No, it's
125.
25, that's today.
so we can have a packet ready to go to the Board of Selectmen a week before their meeting.
Well, then how can you put it on the April 2nd meeting?
I
You're
think
not
the
gonna-
20-something is a mistake. I think he meant March. Because he's
Okay.
looking for this to be on
Okay,
April 2nd.
Okay,
He
so
told
April
me
22nd
if
is
we
actually-
approve the money, I'll have it done.
Okay.
Okay, but
But
even.
you're right, they're not probably gonna meet on the 2nd. Even if they do, we're not gonna be on their
Of
agenda.
course not, because they're not gonna, if the general already had been made, which there's not gonna be a meeting, so, especially if you need 2 weeks' notice, for whatever reason.
They could meet on another day.
Don't they have to have a public hearing as well?
No, they don't have to.
They don't
The
have
public
to.
hearing requirement was at the planning board.
Oh,
That is the requirement of the urban renewal plan.
And that's done.
That's done.
Okay, so if they're not meeting on the 2nd, then I guess the next one would be the 9th, I'm assuming?
I would
Well,
assume.
that's the second Tuesday, they're really not supposed to meet. The 9th, they're having that talk.
They meet every week.
That 9th is they're having that talk on the
Okay.
budget. So that's not gonna be a regular selectmen's meeting.
They could meet on a Thursday. They've done that before.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get it, David.
No, but seriously.
You're asking the wrong group.
The second is the election, we don't know who the selectmen will be until 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I will say
The
this.
9th, they're gonna
Well,
have
no,
the talk.
they're still selectmen. They're not out of office until 3 days after the vote.
I don't know how that can be.
It's simple. They've been,
All right, but Mark, seriously.
they're not going to meet on the 2nd. I can guarantee you
I
that.
know.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Again, none of that matters. You're talking to the wrong group. What I will say is I contacted the school committee on a Thursday and asked if we could present scholarships to students. They had us on their schedule that following Tuesday.
Okay, it's because the Friday deadline wasn't up, they put you on. Yeah.
I asked. It was a request. They put me on immediately.
I think that's great, but if you called on Friday, they probably would have said, should we just...
Well, they couldn't because the schedule would have already been set.
Right. You timed it right.
But I mean, well, yeah, but it was stupidity on my part. I didn't even think of that.
Right.
I expected it to be a week or two down. The point is, they were responsive.
Right. But 5 minutes.
We
for
don't have that on the other
It's
end.
not 5 minutes for an urban renewal plan. It's not a 5-minute meeting.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no.
know.
But we've been asking for
I
a
know.
year to get on their schedule
But I
almost.
guess it's just this stuff. So this stuff hasn't been done.
It's a moot point.
So that's the problem. If the machine donor says the GIS was down, so you guys haven't seen.
What?
it.
Well, Jeff had said they were having a problem with the mapping on their end.
On their end, that's
their
not
end.
necessarily the GIS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
He might have been
whatever.
having some issues. That's a different. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, we're not yet on the schedule.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And Jeff is
who's going to take that over?
Jeff is rehabbing now.
Rehabbing what?
He hurt his knee
Oh, okay.
and he had a setback.
When I said that, everybody else did this. So you were the only guy who didn't notice. You were busy on your phone. No, too late. It's already been taken. You're it.
So, but he assigned. He's still the guy.
Yeah.
But he assigned it to, and I can't remember
Okay. Somebody
the woman's
else.
name.
Olivia.
Okay.
Is it Olivia?
Heather?
Heather.
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 It'll get done eventually.
We'll see.
Hey, yeah.
You better. You guys voted to pay him the money, so then you better show up with the stuff.
Oh no, I'm sure he'll.
Oh, he'll do his
I'm just not sure
job.
about.
Not worried about Jeff doing his job.
Just not sure about the select board.
So enough said about that. Bob, you were the last guy to not step backwards, so you're going to take over this.
Officially elected.
Unless Reggie wants to.
No, Bob's a good. It's
Reggie, step back. Reggie's smarter than he looks. Come on.
I'll help you out, though, Bob.
Do we? Well, I think it still has to be a joint effort,
Yeah, no.
but there has to be a point man. So for now, it'll be you, because you didn't realize we took a vote. The legal bill 489. You want to continue that until the next meeting?
He was on vacation
Yeah.
in Florida, so I'm going to probably try to have a call with him this week. And
Okay.
Try to get some clarification.
Action item. I don't think there's a whole lot on there.
No.
We went through most of this already. Donna takes care of her regulars. Bob and Reg have met. We've gone over just about everything. There's no CPC activity. The one thing I will say to this group is you will need to assign an appointment to the Community Preservation Committee when you reorganize.
And when do they meet? Is it once or twice a month or?
I think they're the first Wednesday.
Once a month.
Once a month?
They meet the first Wednesday of every month. Yes, sorry. With some exceptions, but for the most part, they're once a month. And they have an annual public hearing.
In November.
No, we've been moving it up. We're actually looking to do it in August this year. I won't be there for it, but the reason is when we have our public hearing, it sort of brings awareness to what the CPC does, but we have a cutoff date on pre-applications for late September. So having it in November sort of leaves people hanging for a whole year. As we've shifted forward, we've recognized more and more of the public are starting to respond to it, which is a good thing. We're spreading it around a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much everything on the action items list.
Oh, we got an A+ this month.
Yeah, well, everybody did what they had to do. The last item
You're right, A+. Wow.
is to enter into executive session to consider the possible acquisition of property for the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chairman decides that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, which I do, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A6, and this is for the lease at 100 Page Street, the landfill, Stoughton, Mass. 02072. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Just for the public's knowledge, we will be adjourning from executive session, so I thank you all for watching. And I just want to take a real brief moment to thank the public for putting their trust in me to take this position. When I did 5 years ago, I told the public this would be a one-term item for me, and it was. It has been truly wonderful to work with all the members here at the authority, new and old. Challenging for some of the older ones, but challenging in a good way. I have learned a lot. I have been able to develop relationships with folks that probably I normally wouldn't. So I want to thank them for their service, and I want to thank the Stoughton public. And I'm gone for now, but who knows what the future will hold. So I want to thank everybody who watches these. And you have a wonderful night.